Hi, I'm Daniel Cloud, and I'm from the United States in Texas, and I am part of the DBS International Leadership Team. And something that we're doing for this conference is we're all putting together videos of the 10 core components that we see as something that is making what a DBS should be. And the one that I'm going to be talking about today is small groups. And we want small groups to be a core part of the DBS because it goes so much further beyond just people getting together and reading the Bible out loud. That is something that we do. We get together, we read the Bible out loud in small groups, but it is so much more than just that. When you get together in your small groups in DBS, you are reading, you are discussing what you're reading, you're providing a space for people to ask questions, you're discussing lecture times. You're also using this space to go over IBSs, and the staff are mentoring and teaching the students on how to be better facilitators of small groups and how to present the IBS. The small group, I always say, is the beating heart of the DBS. It's what sets DBSs apart from other Bible schools that YWAM runs. Is we have regulations on these small groups as far as what is required, as far as what the university registrar is. You need to have at least 10 to 15 hours every week of small group to be considered meeting that standard that we have for the university. But it is where you get to explore the Bible. It's where you can go deeper into discussion questions. It's where you connect as a group. I have led many small groups in my time with DBS, and there have been times where, yes, we've read the scriptures, but the most important thing that happened in one day was connecting with everybody in the group. I always start off with asking everybody how they're doing and how are things going. Do we have questions from the lecture? And I tell my students that I could care less if we finish the Bible reading for the day. What I'm more concerned with is, are we connecting as a group? And as a result, the small groups become like a little family, and we get together. And there have been times where people have been vulnerable to the point of tears, where something in lecture hit a note with them. And because we had spent a lot of time creating this safe atmosphere within the small group, we were able to discuss this issue with one of my students, and they were looking at their life in view of a Bible lesson that they had just learned. And so we gave them space to really express that, and we prayed, and then we did get on with the business of the small group. But that moment where we were really able to connect was something that drew our small group together. And we did outings together, and we had a dinner together at the end of the school. And that small group, we're actually still in touch today. And that was 3 years ago. That is the strength of the small group, is connecting, being able to have a place where you can ask a question that you might be too afraid to ask in class, or you might be intimidated of the size of the class, or you may have a teacher that isn't very receptive to questions during lecture. The small group is the place that is the opportunity to ask that question. Or if you're reading through and you have a question about a scripture and your small group leader or nobody else has the answer, you put a question mark out by the side, and then the small group leader in class can remind people, hey, here's the time to bring that out. So small group is so much more than just getting together and reading. It is about connecting. It is about creating a place where students can be comfortable talking about the Bible. It is the way that they would read the text in the Old Testament. Not many people could read back then, so they would get together and they would have the person in the area that could read and understood the texts, and they would read and they would ask questions and they would discuss and they would discover more meaning about the Bible through discussion and question asking. And that is the foundation of what we want to happen out of the small groups within this discipleship Bible school. Discipleship takes place there, and IBS takes place there. Yes, reading takes place there. discussion groups, questions. It is really an amazing tool that we have at our fingertips here within the DBS. And I really hope that as the DBS moves forward, we will have more testimonies of how small groups have helped change people's lives and has helped knit people together in relationships. And then also, as people leave DBS and they go home to churches, that they can then take what they've learned in the small group and be able to run Bible studies at home and be able to invite people over to their house and know how to facilitate and know how to ask questions and know how to listen and know how to have a back and forth with the Bible as the centerpiece for those discussions. And that is what small groups are all about within the DBS. And scene.